Morning, Joanna.
Morning.
How are you today?
Uh, Alive, let's say.
Yeah, it's a little bit inconvenience because of the time difference.
Yes, yeah, the time difference is making its case. So it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m. here.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
just maybe we'll start in 5 minutes.
Okay, can you see the first slide?
Yes, I see the first slide with
Okay,
nice pictures.
thank you. I tried. Hmm.
Yeah, it's the timing is a little bit awkward for me those uh because of those tight uh, time limit for acquiring the funding. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand it. It was pretty fast, in fact,
Yeah,
before the first invitation till the time of the lecture, so I understand it.
yeah, it's usually in months, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
Weeks with some trouble with email even. I think now it's
yeah,
okay, but
yeah,
yeah, it is
yeah.
happening if the domain is not frequently used.
Oh,
So I think now it would be far better because we have exchanged several emails, so it should be functioning.
ah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. For the CV, I will presenting using your LinkedIn is fine.
Yeah, it can be LinkedIn, can be ResearchGate.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because at ResearchGate you have all the publications, and the LinkedIn is just a show.
Yeah, yeah. That's the important of LinkedIn. Mm.
I can see 20 people.
Yes,
It's nice.
20 people, usually people joining a little bit late. I'm sorry for that. Also sharing with the bachelor as well,
Mm-hmm.
because they have uh, uh, now it's the course of food science and technology, so it's more likely to connect it to today
Mm-hmm.
topics. And for the master student is molecular nutrition, but
Mm-hmm.
most of them will try to make a product. So it's also relevant, I think.
Okay, the presentation is very complex because I try to put almost everything within this short time. But okay, so in the food science technology course is also at Faculty of Medicine?
Yes, it's
Yes.
a little bit weird. My department is nutrition science, and
Mm-hmm.
then in the department we have three programs: Bachelor of Nutrition, Master of Nutrition Science, and then dietetic program for the practical.
Mm-hmm.
And in those program, we have a course for food technology to give
Mm-hmm.
them the background how to properly design product uh, in a way of a food scientist does.
I see. Because
Yeah,
I was thinking that you had another faculty of engineering and something. And
yeah,
I
we
was thinking then
actually
there
have
is.
we have those engineering, but for food they uh, only in part of the chemical engineering, and then
Mm-hmm.
we actually have food technology program in the Faculty of Husbandry and Agriculture.
I see.
But yeah, but they focus on the technology, not in the correlation with nutrition. And
I see.
yeah, we put emphasis on the nutrition. So I think it's very good integration of the science of food technology and nutrition.
I hope the viewers will enjoy. I think we can start. It's 7:01.
Yes, uh, I will share screen first for the introduction, and then you can share your screen after mine.
Okay.
Yes. Today we having Professor Joanna for our guest professor. She is head of Department of Biotechnology and Food Analysis in the uh, Wroclaw University of Economic and Business. She have many publication. She has 106 publication index in Scopus with age index of 25, is very high for this field. She got her PhD. Um, here. She got her PhD from Wroclaw University of Environmental and Life Science in Food Science and Technology. She also individual fellowship of Mary Curie. It was very prestigious fellowship. I think, and then for the publication, most of them in the field of food science and technology, as well as tempeh and fermentation. I can see here. It's very nice. And then we can welcome her to give the presentation in the gluten uh, gluten-free product. I will stop my share screen. As you can share screen now, Joanna.
Okay, I will try to share my screen. Let's see. Okay, can you see?
Yes, it's
Okay,
clear.
perfect. So thank you, Dr. Ayusta, for this nice introduction. Actually, I am pretty frequently visiting the region because since I think 2020, I am regularly visiting or Singapore or Philippines or the also Malaysia for different food congresses. You may ask why. Actually, I usually thought that as the sun rises on the east, you have a lot of traditional knowledge and very unique raw material to offer, which can be super nutritious and build a new products and a new market. As I am affiliated to Wroclaw University of Economics and Business, part of this presentation will also refer to the market and market opportunity. So let's start. Gluten-free products and technology. You may ask also why gluten-free? As rice being a staple food in the majority of Asia, it's naturally gluten-free. So what's about and what is the burden about? In fact, this is a really rising problem. But before, some crucial things of this presentation. So I would like to merge for this short lecture a lot of different areas that are connected with production, nutrition, market, healthcare, public health. So you will get packed information. This lecture will combine both fundamental food science with some practical application relevant to Indonesia, also with some traditional food, Indonesian food. So if I will mispronounce it, please forgive me. I will try my best. And the learning outcomes, which I would like for you to take, is to understand the role of gluten. Mainly, it's a textural, structural role. Then to identify the technological challenges in gluten-free formulation. Then to be able to evaluate some ingredients and the solution that those specific ingredients can bring in recipe formulation. Then some nutritional applications and implications of creating a gluten-free product. And as a summary, how the traditional knowledge and traditional product typical for Indonesian market can be applied to modern gluten-free product formulation. So again, what's about this gluten-free? Actually, more or less until 1980, celiac disease, which is the crucial disease connected with the presence of gliadin protein, mainly present in wheat, but also in a certain context in barley and rye. So the celiac disease was almost unknown in Indonesia, which is pretty common as the rice is a staple food. However, because the wheat consumption extended, more people were starting suffering from this chronic autoimmune condition, though most cases remain undiagnosed. There are some genetical factors that makes some people more prone to suffer from celiac disease. However, generally, globally, celiac disease affects approximately 1% of the global population. There is one gene frequency called HLA-DQ, which is actually very common in people suffering from celiac disease. And it's the observance and the case reporting of this gene frequency is rising in Indonesia, noting around less than 5%. What more important, there is not only celiac disease connected with wheat consumption and wheat product-based consumption, but there are some other problems, mainly allergic, which is non-celiac gluten sensitivity and wheat allergy. Those are exactly for other small molecule protein present in wheat. which wider the community that is suffering from eating wheat-based product. Some symptoms actually can be easily misdiagnosed, as they are bloating after consuming wheat bread or instant wheat noodles, some stomach pain, digestive discomfort, diarrhea and malabsorption, even intestinal bleeding in some chronic cases. How does it look, in fact? Actually, the global gluten-free market is reaching, in 2023, reached over 5.6 billion. Till 2020, it's projected to reach $8.3 billion. In Indonesia, the wheat consumption increased from 22.4 kilo per capita in around 10 years ago till 23 per capita 1 year later, and the projection is rising. And wheat has become the second staple food after rice, reaching 28% in 2020. And the critical statistics in Indonesia are that, I don't know if you know it, but Indonesia became the world's largest wheat importer, with over 12 tons now of wheat imported, which is really questionable because you have rice. So why? No, don't do this. There is no point for accepting or introducing Western style of eating to Eastern communities. Different microbiota, different environment, really, no need. But let's go and see more. Currently, Indonesian consumes wheat daily. Buy bread, instant noodles, pasta, cakes, cook. When I was visiting Singapore and Malaysia, wheat bread was everywhere. Cookies, chiffon cakes based on the wheat, everywhere. So I am not very surprised, preparing those data for today's lecture, that in fact wheat is taking by storm the ASEAN countries. So, and it's very, very popular, not only in the city communities, but also in rural areas. And if the wheat consumption is increasing, also the occurrence of celiac or other gluten-based allergy is rising. And then what to do? Actually, Indonesia has a huge raw material resources, which are gluten-free. It's not only rice, it's also cassava. You're a world largest cassava producers. You have very unique sago resources. And many, many other typical gluten-free food, which maybe sometimes, because it also happened in many other countries all around the world, that after the short flash of being, let's say, starting to adore Western type of diet, then we are coming back to our own resources. But now people, at least in Poland, which is pretty nice example, hamburgers, which are typical American food, although it origins from Germany, but it's typical American now. It's pretty popular, but people expect to have the buns in a hamburger made from a bit different flour or flour mixtures than pure wheat, because it's not what the Polish people are accustomed to eat. So probably in terms of Indonesian market, that would be also a further challenge. Here goes some Indonesian. Lontong ketupat. Is that good?
It's
Something.
good.
Hope so. Lemper Nagasari. Bihun, and that one I don't know how to pronounce. Kwetiau.
Yes, it is bihun and kwetiau.
Bihun kwetiau. Yes.
Yes.
So, actually, compressed rice cakes, rice noodles, rice crackers, all those are exploiting different technologies. Texture creating under compression, some extrusion, expansion through sun drying. All those traditional technologies offer not mainstreamly used technologies that can be employed for creating a texture which is somehow comparable for typical wheat flour product, but based on non-wheat raw materials. Also, fermentation processes. A lot of different fermentation processes that are in traditional Indonesian kitchen can contribute to a new, very healthy, nutritious, gluten-free product. But usually, the main problem is scaling up. It's always, yeah? We can ferment on the home basis, on the small basis. We can do the lontong also at home. But industrial production needs a bit different approach. And this is always a challenge. Kerupuk singkong. Yes? Getuk sagu mutiara.
Yes.
Very interesting products which are native to Indonesia, which have different techniques for texture improvement, for texture modification, for flavor development. What is very, very precious in case of fermentation are the local fermentation starters, the local microorganisms, which are, as they are local, naturally engineered to convert the product, the raw materials. So there is a lot you can do as professionals, as future professionals in food science and nutrition, to create the market for incoming challenges. Concluding, what can be learned from already existing Indonesian products? So, In case of fermentation technology, mixed culture of yeast and lactic bacteria in S.T.P. Am I pronouncing good? S.T.P.
Yes, correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So this is modifying starch structure, producing organic acids, which are enhancing mineral bioavailability, create unique flavors, which sometimes can mask gluten-free off flavors. And of course, fermentation is a preservation technology, so everybody knows it. Then some compression techniques we observe in lontong processing. It's a starch retrogradation under pressure. It creates a stable structure without additives and natural texture modification without any further mechanical processing. Expansion technologies, again, starch gelatinization. Most of those products are based on starch having raw materials. And two-stage processing, drying and frying. So at least four, actually it's written in. So at least 4 research opportunities for modern application can be taken from already existing products. It's a local microorganism, industrial parameters optimization, understand what type of starch modifications are undergoing in those specific production methods, and then applying it to modern products. Okay, so why this gluten is so important? Well, it's not so important, actually. It became important because gluten has a very unique protein. The complex of those proteins is called gluten, actually, and it consists of 2 main wheat proteins called gliadin and glutenin. And this is actually very, very unique as it creates super elastic, stretchy network able to maintain the gas in it and able to stretch and maintain the stretchy structure after baking. So this is actually unique among plant proteins, among proteins at all, as we can say, based on the present knowledge. Gliadin, which is packed protein, contributes to viscosity and extensibility. And it provides also a liquid-like properties. Meanwhile, glutenin provides elasticity and structural strength. When you can look at the molecular structures of those 2 proteins, gliadin is more packed, more complex, while glutenin is long chain stretched. And also glutenin creates the solid properties that help trap gases during fermentation. This gas trapping is crucial for creation the typical wheat network, which allows long strains and the huge gas bubble trapped inside the dough. So as you may see here, it is really, really difficult to find something similar and to create a gluten-free product that is similar in terms of texture and structure, not nutrition, but texture and structure to gluten. And this is the challenge. The critical roles of gluten are observed in many products based on wheat. As gluten-free products often exhibit characteristic defects like crumbly, dry texture due to poor moisture retention or sandy or gritty mouthfeel from high starch content, and lack of chewiness that consumers are expecting. Also, some different colors due to different Maillard reaction. So those defects are coming from the critical functions of gluten, where it traps carbon dioxide, creates volume and soft crumb structure, provides characteristic chewiness. Also absorb water in pasta making, provides elasticity during sheeting, prevents disintegration during cooking, and providing a certain texture during chewing. Also, properly prepared gluten products, wheat products, can maintain and retain moisture during storage, which prevents rapid stalling. When we remove gluten-based raw materials, we are facing all these problems together at once. Not only one aspect, but all. So, if we would like to create a typical wheat bread based on non-wheat raw material, we will have problems with bubbles and aeration. We will have problems with water retaining and absorption, and problems with life extension, shelf life extension. So it's not only simple replacement, it's a challenge. Usually, gluten-free butters stick to equipment surfaces very differently from typical conventional dough, which makes mixing requirements change. We can't use the same way the equipment we are using for wheat-based dough. Proofing times differ also significantly. Baking parameters needs adjustment, temperature profiles, humidity levels, and baking times. Shelf life of gluten-free materials, gluten-free products, is typically shorter due to rapid retrogradation of starch. These factors require completely different production protocols and quality control measures. Also, require completely different training, because the worker, the manufacturer who is accustomed for gluten elasticity will have huge problems working with raw material where there is no elasticity, but it's huge viscosity. So it's not only finding a gluten substitute, but rather creating a whole functional system. As it was shown on the previous slide, replacing wheat causes not one problem, but several. And how about Indonesian processing? We have compression techniques and we have fermentation methods. So they are exploiting different approach for texture creation. Of course, this is not the same texture as in gluten, but this is a good start because it's solid. So it's solid, it's viscous, but it's not liquid. Then at least we have a matrix. Now, if we want to reach more aerated product, we need to exploit some fermentation, which will give the dough gas inside. But this is actually the main problem and the main challenge. Let's say not a problem, but the challenge, because it's challenge, it's very interesting how to convert the typical food into completely different matrix, preserving the taste, because taste is the crucial thing in food, and also preserving the nutritional value, because, and I will be saying about it later, we can create very nice aerated structure using only starch, but that will lack a lot of nutrients and would be more similar to plastic than to anything nutritious. So the next challenge, texture and quality defects. Actually, crumbly dry texture, sandy or gritty mouthful, lack of chewiness, pale crust color, and rapid stalling are typical problems for gluten-free food based on solely or mainly starch. Because it's, as I said, it's easy to create the viscous structure, even be able to create foam and then to bake it. But because of the lack of protein, which is far better maintaining water than polysaccharides, the resulting product is very crumbly, not elastic. It's sandy. It crunches. There is no chewiness, and sometimes the color, because lack of protein, is not visually appealing. Other processing defects that we can face maintaining gluten-free dough. This is stickness. You may think, what is the problem in stickness? Well, it's a huge problem if you have the equipment which is designed for non-sticky dough. So you will lose a lot of batch because it would be sticked to the equipment. Then the poor volume resulting in very dense products. Because there is no elasticity comparable to gluten, the crumb structure and cell size are irregular. And again, it's shorter shelf life than in conventional gluten equivalents. The solutions, there is a lot of solutions. Food science and technology specialists are working on incorporation a lot of different ingredients to create something similar, something which mimics somehow the gluten. Some of them are hydrocolloids, some of them are proteins, some of them are enzymes. I will briefly go through practically all of them. And you may see that, again, replacing this wheat creates a huge problem, but in fact, it creates a problem only when you are expecting to have the same type of product. So having a wheat bread and then wanting to have a wheat bread, but made not from wheat. Manufacturing challenges. Again, the equipment adhesion creates many problems, but also with mixing. Mixing parameters means energy consumption, and it means higher cost of the process itself than kneading of wheat flour. Then proofing times are significantly different from wheat-based products, which, again, thinking from the process perspective, elongates the time, creates the need to adjust protocol schedules, completely changes the approach. Baking adjustments, again, recalibration for optimal product quality. So going further in the forest, we can see that it's not only, okay, it would be more sticky. No. If you want to scaling up, there's more stickiness, longer proofing, higher susceptibility to temperature, requires creation of a new manufacturing protocol. And there are many, many approaches how to do this. One of those approaches is flour blending strategy. Actually, there is no other flour like wheat. So if we want to mimic wheat-based product, at least for now, according to the present knowledge, single flour formulation rarely succeed in gluten-free baking. We can use, of course, an intense aeration, some fermentation. I know some work, some research based on rice flour with intense mixing, intense aeration, of course also fermentation to provide the bubbles, which as a result gave the spongy dough. However, the size of the cells were at least uniform but small because of the natural rice flour characteristic, which is rather poor in protein and abundant in starch. It can create a nice foam, but with the uniform bubble, not such a huge, big bubbles we can observe in wheat-based bread, but rather small like a foam. So how to build, let's say, perfect flour blend? Perfect, I say, put it in the quote, because it depends on the preparation, but using typical local for Indonesia raw material, it could be based, of course, on rice flour, some tapioca or potato starch for creating the structure, fiber source is needed because fiber helps retaining water and maintain the balance of water in the product, and then protein. Protein can be soy, can be pea, whether protein is available. And blending, in fact, helps us to achieve a better amino acid profiles, enhances also the nutritional value, and intends to keep the superior moisture retention. some examples of bread formulas is, of course, as said before, rice flour, tapioca, potato starch. But there is another very interesting raw material, which is sago starch, known for creating at least sago pears. This is very common product here. And also some flours made from any type of bean can be helpful both of this because of the starch present and the protein abundance, but it will face the problem of flavor. The beanie of flavor is a typical issue, let's say. I would not say a defect because everything depends what people likes, actually. But it's a typical issue. If you want to mimic one-to-one wheat bread, you can use a mixture of different raw materials rich in starch and protein, but usually off flavor will appear. Actually, using legume flours is very, very beneficial, except some anti-nutrients present, but it will always have the off flavor, the beanie of flavor, notable. And one thing which is rather from business approach is that every recipe which is new is also an issue of intellectual property protection. The patenting the knowledge is one of the strategies to protect the market, to protect the knowledge, to create the business. Why business is important? Because business is providing to community. Business is creating the economy. Is it small business? Is it big business? Every big business was small ones. So everything in the history started from one person or a group of few persons who wanted to introduce their invention to the market. So working on your products, because I was informed that majority of your will be creating a product, think about an innovation. And when you create something that is working, think about protection, intellectual property protection, and then be brave to trying to introduce it on market. It's not an easy route, but it's very, very good educational route to see how far is from creating a product in laboratory to having it on the market. There are some different ingredients that are widely used to mimic the gluten characteristic. One of them mostly used are hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids are mainly polysaccharides. Oh, of course, proteins also and fiber. Fiber are polysaccharides. But mainly polysaccharides that are absorbing a lot of water, that are maintaining the water, and that are creating a viscous structure. So one of the most popular industrial, let's say, because there is a lot of gums, different gums, extremely interesting natural gums which can be extracted from plants, trees, and sometimes seaweeds, that can create a viscous, very interesting structure, but industrially, there are a few of them used. It's xanthan gum, comes from bacterial fermentation and has an excellent gas retention. It's used up to 2%. HPMC, which is hydroxyprobylmethyl cellulose, it's a tree derivative, in fact. So we are using the tree residuals, but it is making miracles in the recipes. Improves volume, improves softness, and also up to 2% of the use. Guar gum, coming from guar beans, sometimes synergistically combined with xanthan gum, up to 1.5%. And now taking by storm the industry market is psyllium husk, which is a clean label. It's extremely sticky raw material, can be used up to 5%. And this is, in fact, a very, very promising raw material because it's not releasing water easily, like HPMC or the other gums. This psyllium husk is creating a really gummy ball, which can help in creating a stretchy, elastic dough. So, how the hydrocolloids work? Mainly viscosity. Yeah, we should not mix viscosity with elasticity. Those are completely two different behaviors, which can be easily distinguished by rheological measurement. That stuff I am mainly working in my laboratory. However, from the macroscopic approach, we can see almost similar thing. Yeah, it's just moving, looks like elastic, but it's not elastic, it's viscous. Where is the difference? The difference is when you have something which is elastic, it's like a rubber ball. You squeeze it and it squids back, yeah, expanding. And when you have something which is viscous, you can squeeze it, you are feeling the resilience, but then it can't recreate the structure. Usually, if you squeeze it too much, it would be destroyed. So this is the difference between viscosity and elasticity. Hydrocolloids, by binding water, improve moisture retention in the product. They can mimic elasticity to the certain level, and then they can also improve stability during the freeze-thaw process because they maintain water somehow, but not that well as gluten. And that's why there is a lot of blends used in gluten-free production because they work synergistically. One is completing another. Sometimes in tertiary or ternary mixtures, they work the best. But not only hydrocolloids contribute to creation of gluten-free, gluten-like network, but also the other, like proteins, fats, and emulsifiers. Proteins accept the nutritional value, and this point is also very important because plant proteins, due to the lack of lysine and cysteine, are not perceived as fully nutritious, actually. The restricting amino acids like lysine, isoleucine, are restricting the amino acids absorption. And plant proteins often had in satisfactory ratio of restricting amino acid to the rest of the acids. So proteins provide in the gluten-free recipe not only nutritious aspects, but also functional, as they are contributing to network formation through protein-protein interaction. Sometimes some of the processing helps creating disulfide bonds, and disulfide bonds between the protein chains create a huge protein which somehow is closer to the gluten complex. And everything depends what type of protein it is, not only which amino acids it possesses, but also how huge is the molecule. Because if it's a huge protein, it provides a structural benefits. If it's small protein, it undergoes Maillard reaction with the sugar, creating browning and aroma part of the product. Common protein sources, well, dairy, of course, it can be. It can be from egg proteins. Those animal proteins had the most similar to what the human organism needs amino acid profile, but also soy protein isolate. It's very, very abundant and common. And pea protein, increasingly popular actually recently. And the typical addition is around 50% of flour weight. There is also the fat part. And here you have one of the best plant fats, which is coconut oil. Because probably in your temperature zone, coconut oil is liquid. But here it's solid, which makes a completely different contribution to the dough. The fat addition is improving tenderness, improving water movement, and improving the mouthfeel. Of course, can also better carry the flavors. As it's not that easy mixing all this stuff like fat, protein, hydrocolloids, it's not resulting in very nice dough, actually. So some emulsifiers are needed. And if you can see, we are now building up a huge label on the product. Hydrocolloid, flour, fat, protein, now emulsifier, comparing to the very clean label of wheat bread. This is also the problem in gluten-free market. It's called clean labeling because the far better results are obtained by a huge label, which means a lot of different ingredients. However, consumers, if they are aware, they are reluctant for such products. Having a clean etiquette, it's not only the market trend, it's also the nutritional concern. Because this is a lot of different ingredients. Each of the ingredients is carrying the potential of being a source of allergy. So coming back to the structure and technology, emulsifiers typically used are lecithin, which creates very nice emulsions, and some DATM and SSLL. Those are rather purified ingredients, purified chemicals that are strengthening gas cell membranes and improving mixing tolerance. And this is not the end. So our label is expanding. There is another approach for creation of gluten-free product, which tends to minimize the label and to obtain the similar results by using the biotechnological approach, which is exploitation of enzymes. One of the very common enzyme in gluten-free production is transglutaminase. Transglutaminase is a connecting enzyme. It sticks the protein chains together and is able to create pretty huge protein molecule from small molecules. Having a huge molecule of protein, not hydrocolloid, but of protein, is a very good approach to obtain nice elastic structure. But transglutaminase is an enzyme. An enzyme works if they can access the protein chain. If they cannot, because the protein is huge or has a different shape, there won't be sufficient work of transglutaminase. So the proteases are used. Proteases hydrolyze proteins into smaller chains, which can be later again cross-linked with transglutaminase. We have also amylases that are modifying starch structure, cutting the starch into a smaller chain into dextrins, which improve the softness, which improve the Maillard compounds creation, and changes the dough structure. And the glucose oxidase, it's another cross-linking enzyme which is strengthening the protein network, giving more elasticity into the dough. How we can meet traditional processes with modern science. In the introduction, it was indicated that I have some works on TEMPE. Actually, TEMPE, being a result of solid-state fermentation, offers pretty unique opportunity for creation the meat replacer. But the TEMPE process and the TAPE also, those are processes that by fermentation are providing enzyme activity into the structure. So, knowing which type of activity, being able to isolate microorganisms, being able to standardize those microorganisms, being able to create the functionally oriented mixes of certain microorganisms is a great approach for exploitation of traditional knowledge into modern products. And this is one of the best approaches because exploiting enzymes is not contributing to the strange labels. On the labels only appears enzymes or tempe isolate, which is far more appealing to the customer and less scary. Of course, it's not that easy. Yeah, there is a challenge, there is a possibility, but there are also problems. Enzymes are proteins, so they are susceptible to many things like temperature, and they are pH dependent. Sometimes they are depending on cations, metal cations. So it needs works. It needs a lot of work, but can offer a really nice solution of gluten-free problems, and very nutritious, again, because solid state fermentation by the certain mold strains provides not only enzymes and not only modifies the structure, but the biomass of the mold is both protein and polysaccharides source. Yeah, again to chiffon cake. Back to chiffon cake. Actually, the expanding market of the typical cakes, cookies, and bakeries, it's the main point for gluten-free products, because those cookies are made from wheat. Actually, the cookies on the picture can be easily exchanged or made from non-wheat flour, because those structures are not needing too much of elasticity. It's not that problem which can be observed with bread and pasta. Actually, pasta is particularly challenging without gluten, as the traditional pasta relies entirely on wheat flour. Some formulation principles to tender baked goods. As you may see, maybe you will notice it. If not, I will put your attention to this. Please look how nutritionally the recipe is changing. From wheat flour having almost no fat to the recipe when we have high fat content, because fat is helping to create the structure. Then elevated sugar levels, because if we are using amylases to improve the texture, amylases are cutting amylopectin and amylose, which are main contributors of starch, into shorter chains, which are easily digestible and are elevating the blood sugar. Then the reduced water content. Water content is reduced to get the characteristic crisp. Comparing gluten-free recipe with original wheat recipe, we can notice the significant shift of nutritional ingredients towards not very nutritious combination. It will later impact the occurrence of diabetes, actually, and several problems. That is why it is so important to invent, to create, to elaborate novel gluten-free technologies, not only based on appropriate mixing of sugar and fat. Yeah. One of the technologies that is helping to create the structure is extrusion. Extrusion can be higher in temperature, can be lower in temperature, can be higher in moisture content, can be lower in moisture content. And being in Malaysia, I remember one congress there was a presentation of tempeh chips obtained by extrusion of tempeh, which help create the crispy structure from naturally non-crispy product. That was interesting. As a hydromechanical process is occurring during extrusion, high temperature and high shear, it results in melting of the structure and helps to create a novel product with new function. One of these function is crispiness development, as the water is moved inside the dough, which makes it easier available, also easier available for evaporating. This is the way of creating puff products or crisps. In case of Indonesian market opportunity, there is a lot of different snacks that can combine local gluten-free product like cassava, like rice, sometimes with the corn maize addition, and very authentic seasoning, which are typical to your cuisine, like sambal, like rendang, can create a very nice and very appealing products, gluten-free and based on exploitation of extrusion. Now we are going to the other part of gluten-free manufacturing. It's a quality control. So there are several parameters that need to be verified, like volume, as a result of creating the structure. So usually the typical volume of wheat bread is 3-4 centimeters per gram of specific volume, centimeters cube, of course. And there are texture analysis, TPA, elasticity for firmness and springiness, crumb grain evaluation, and color crust measurement. But everything depends on which type of raw material are used. Actually, in the elasticity and in color formation, as I mentioned before, if we use another protein, if we use another flour, if you use enzyme, the Maillard compounds that are creating will appear to the certain but different extent, which create different color profile. I will tell you now the story of actually my Marii Skłodowska-Curie stipendship. There is one gluten-free raw material very popular in Poland, which is buckwheat. Buckwheat has a different color. It's a grain. It's a pseudo cereal with a huge grain, but its color of the flour is completely different to the wheat. But we are accustomed to eating buckwheat. And my stipend was in Spain. Spain is wheat-based community. So when I tried to introduce the buckwheat-based bread, which was typical for me, I faced the rejection because the Spaniards were not accustomed to the color, to the taste, to the aroma. Although buckwheat is a very nutritious grain, the cultural customs, the taste, which is typical for and different from wheat, make it unacceptable. And the color was also completely different. So everything depends. Actually, trying to mimic wheat product in different country means completely different thing. And it's very, very correlated with sensory evaluation. Because in that case of buckwheat bread, we obtain a very nice spongy bread, but the taste, it tastes like buckwheat. If you don't know how buckwheat tastes, you don't like it. So even though structurally, texturally, the results were very good, well, sensory evaluation said, no, it's not acceptable. We don't like it. So it is very, very, very crucial to focus the product on the target consumer. Because if you focus wrongly, although you will get a fantastic product, it won't be accepted because for somebody, for someone, it tastes not good enough. And it's not your fault, it's just the taste. So, quality control again. Testing protocols need to be adjusted to the certain quality characteristics, which are physical parameters, which are sensory evaluation, but also moisture content and shelf life testing. Those two things are entwined because shelf life depends from moisture content, and depending on which product you have, a different moisture is expected. And then we go to the other side. Yes, what does it mean, gluten-free? Well, it can be free of gluten, or it can have less than 20 ppm of gluten. And this gluten-free by law, because Codex Alimentarius is defining gluten-free product when it contains less than 20 ppm of gluten, which is gliadin proteins, actually. And usually for testing the presence of gluten, the ELISA tests are mandatory. In Indonesia, there is a certain entity, Badan Pengawas Obat dan Makanan. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but It follows the international codex standards and requires a comprehensive documentation from every product incorporated on the market to protect the market and to assure the safety compliance. And this is the market part, the product part, but we also have the consumer part. And this is actually problematic, because if the healthcare is not accustomed to testing any wheat-dependent diseases, if the medical professionals are not trained in differentiating the symptoms typical for wheat allergy or celiac disease from other gastrointestinal problems, it can create a huge hidden epidemic. Because untreated celiac disease and it can be only treated by the proper diet. There is no other cure. So untreated conditions led to the hard, very intense bowel inflammatory, which is a very, very unpleasant thing, actually. So what are the gluten detection methods? ELISA method is a gold standard. It is using antibody test against gliadin and gluten protein, providing the most reliable testing and the fastest, because this is around 4 hours. Detection limit is 3 to 5 ppms. And the cost is not that high, actually, because it is now very, very popular. The other method is PCR testing, looking for DNA and identifies wheat genetic material. And it only identifies, not quantifies, so it's useful for the ingredient checking, but not suitable for final product certification. For final product certification is mainly ELISA method. Sometimes it's rapid screening used. It's also cost effective, but it's less accurate. Usually used for field testing or preliminary check of the batch acceptance in the factories. And there is another thing, which is called cross-contamination, because gluten-free manufacturing needs separate ways of handling raw materials, handling people working with raw materials, handling transport means, handling transport routes, because cross-contamination in terms of powder raw materials goes by air. And it's sometimes even cross-contaminated on the field. If the field is not well separated, if the transportation tracks are not dedicated only to transporting gluten-free raw material, the storing compartments are not dedicated only for storing gluten-free material, the cross-contamination is happening all the time. So we can have a very nice rice, which is cultivated not far from the wheat fields, or it's transported with the same trucks that wheat are, and then we have no longer gluten-free rice. We have contaminated possibly contaminated, but the possibility of being contaminated at the level higher of 20 ppm is very high, actually. So the gluten detection methods drives us to diagnostic challenges. Yeah, diagnostic challenges in Indonesian healthcare. I have made some research, and I must tell that the problems are same as in other countries facing the gluten-free and the celiac spread. The first thing is knowledge. It's actually very difficult to differentiate the gastrointestinal problems from the problems resulting from immuno the celiac disease, which is chronic immune disease. Some serological testing is needed, anti-TTGA or EMA antibodies, which are pretty expensive. The problem of endoscopy, which is the confirming method of checking if it's a Crohn's disease or if it's a celiac disease. The endoscopy facilities are mainly available in major cities. Then what I said, the gluten-free or celiac disease awareness. Symptoms are very frequently attributed to stomach problem or IBS. Genetic testing. Genetic testing is really rarely available everywhere, actually. And this is one of the best methods of testing if the person is prone to celiac disease occurrence or not. And of course, the expertise is in a shortage for histopathology and diagnosing. Sometimes patients are enduring years of the disease before the proper identification. Usually those persons are malnourished or oppositely obese, because it's also malnourishing, the problems with absorption, and the problems with sometimes people are have intuition and they avoid certain products, changing for another, and avoiding wheat and the wheat-based products results on eating another starchy product. It is, as I mentioned before, also correlated sometimes with the diabetes type 2 occurrence, which occurs in with high frequency in patients with celiac disease because of the too high carbohydrate consumption. So increased wheat consumption creates problems. There is no point of eating that much of wheat, but people are eating it, and you as a future nutritionist, you have later to face the problem. So, how can we combat the very poor nutritional quality of gluten-free product? As you remember, there is a flour blending which helps, Flour means also starch. Starch is a refined raw ingredient. So there is, in starch, there is mainly starch, nothing more. Then we have fat. Then we have emulsifiers. We have also some fiber. But somehow those recipes very often lacks of vitamins and minerals. So the essential vitamin like thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, and folate comes from I forgot the name in English, which is not the crop, cereals. Yeah, sorry. Comes from cereals. Yes, and when you are using refined flours, the level of vitamins, which are sometimes mainly located in the outer part of the grain, is low. So there is a need of supplementing of micronutrients, also iron, sometimes calcium, and sometimes vitamin D. If you have in your mind how many of ingredients we already put in our gluten-free recipe, and now we have to add vitamins and iron and calcium, you will get the label on the product that looks like a prescription, not like a food. But this is how it works now. But using non-refined raw materials and using the blends of gluten-free flours, not only starches, but gluten-free flours, can actually cover all the necessary needs in micronutrients without the need of supplementing it. Also, fermentation improves the bioavailability of minerals already present in the ingredients. This is the need, but how about the regulatory compliance? So from this lecture, you will see the gluten-free landscape is a kind of escape room, because you have to comply this, you have to comply that, you have to comply this, you have to comply that. So in a huge labyrinth of expectation and needs, you have to find a route to create the product that is texturally appealing, that is sensory appealing, that is nutritious, that is sometimes locally connected to the local tastes. So it's a pretty huge challenge, but also very, very interesting topic. So regulatory compliance. All the fortification, you probably know it, must comply Indonesian guidelines, and this authority regulations to be able to enter the market. Certain minerals like iron present in certain levels can actually cause off flavors and undesirable color changes. So, another restrictions. Again, with vitamins added as an external addition, there is another problem. They can oxidize during processing, during storage, which again incorporates unnecessary of flavors. And here will come another restriction called glycemic index. So refined gluten-free products, because they are made from refined carbohydrates, starch, refined starch, low fiber, they usually have high glycemic index. There are some also natural products that have high glycemic index to the very, very rapid start digestion, which creates blood glucose spikes. Blood glucose spikes are not good for anyone, not only for diabetic consumers, not only for gluten-free food consumers or celiac disease patients or other patients. The glucose spikes are not good for anyone. So there is also the proper order of eating. If we put the highly carbohydrate food on the empty stomach, we are killing ourselves with the blood glucose spikes. If we fill up the stomach with something which delays digestion, mainly fiber, mainly vegetables, sometimes proteins, the sugar-rich food can be consumed safely. But this is another part of proper eating. Looking at the three mostly used ingredients in gluten-free product, which is white rice flour, tapioca starch, and potato starch, you can see how high glycemic index they have. Low glycemic index is considered below 55. Those are high glycemic index raw ingredients. And I have a data from 2018. So among Indonesian adults, it's 10% suffering from diabetes. Probably now the numbering can be higher, actually. So evidence-based strategies to lower glycemic index. Another pack of suggestions how to compose the gluten-free product. As I said, if we fill the stomach with the fiber, it will delay the digestion. So when we are using brown rice flour, the glycemic index of brown rice flour is far lower. However, every stick has two sides because brown rice flour is made from not fully the hulled rice. So in the residual of the hulls of the rice, there are some anti-nutrients like phytate, which are not, not very beneficial. So this is a hard choice. But there are other whole grain. Actually, sorghum is also high in phytates. So it's not a very good replacement. Buckwheat, I mentioned. Buckwheat doesn't have that much phytates, but it has another thing. But also have high level of fibers. Then protein enhancement, up to 20% of protein in the recipe, slows gastric emptying and reduces glucose spikes in blood. Healthy fat inclusion. Fat is essential ingredient, but it needs to be eaten wisely because crude fat is beneficial, but refined fat full of trans linkages is even not beneficial, is strictly harmful. Viscous fiber addition, psyllium, beta-glucan, or other, slowing starch digestion, any fiber addition. It should not be, there is no point of using soluble fiber. It can be even insoluble. Fiber is acting as just as a blockage for digestion, so incorporating a certain amount of fiber in any product is beneficial. Sometimes incorporating the acid in the formulation. And the resistant starch actually is considered as fiber. So if we have an access to resistant starch, or some processing can convert existing starch into resistant starch to the certain extent, the manufacturing, the recipe of the product should also consider this. But using those ingredients, especially whole grain flour, we have to be aware of anti-nutrients because every stick has two endings. So anti-nutritional factors present mainly in whole grain is phytic acid. The problem with this phytic acid is that it chelates essential minerals, which is reducing very much their bioavailability, up to even 80%. So you can take, you can fortify your product with iron, but if your product is high in phytic acid, the result of iron bioavailability would be very, very low, because up to 80% of iron, zinc, calcium, or magnesium can be chelated by phytic acid and won't be available to digestion. The same with tannins. Tannins are present in sorghum, in certain legumes, in many fruit additions, like fruit skins. Sometimes there is a fruit fiber available. Actually, very often is high in tannins. And trypsin inhibitors. Oh, I am over my time, but I am reaching the end. Trypsin inhibitors are also very common in legumes, and they interfere with protein digestion. So those are anti-nutrient factors that can be taken into consideration. There are some strategies to enhance bioavailability of raw materials, and this is of course fermentation. This is also soaking, germination, and enzymatic treatment, which can degrade the phytic acid. I will speed up a bit. So how to create a clean label and create a proper positioning towards strategic health. The aware consumers, some of the modern aware consumers, demand so-called clean label. So ideally fewer than 10 ingredients in the product. No artificial additives, transparent sourcing, da 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 da. So for those we have to be extremely careful with the creation, the formulation, and we have used so-called clean label alternatives, the ingredients that are contributing the same functionality, but sounds more less harmful, let's say, like psyllium husk sounds better than HPMC. They both contribute huge viscosity. Sourdough fermentation instead of calcium propionate preservative. Natural enzymes from sprouted grains, not artificial, industrially, commercially available enzymes. Powders for colors, fruit and vegetable powders often used for colors. They are also the source of tannins, which I mentioned previously. So it can be taken into consideration because sometimes you want to replace an ingredient to get a nicer label, but we result in technological problems. And the traditional techniques can replace chemical processing. In terms of health positioning, high fiber, over 6 grams per 100, protein enriched, over 12 grams per 100, whole grain, low glycemic index, and using naturally gluten-free. In case of Indonesian market, there is a lot of local resources like cassava, rice, and also a lot of traditional fermentation knowledge, which can result in very nice made with Indonesian ingredients claim, which can be beneficial on the market. Okay, this is basically the same what I said previously, but a bit more elaborated. We can skip it. So, something more about the market approach. For what should be done in terms of facing the gluten-free product market development. So in research institution, it's expected to develop formulation using indigenous ingredient. In private sector, invest in production facilities, quality control, and export certification system. In government, providing research funding, standard developments, some taxes. In farmers, diversify into gluten-free commodity, which is not very difficult in Indonesia, actually now. And in nutrition professionals, educate consumers and advocate for policy frameworks. Okay, not to scare you, yes, with the huge annual wheat import and the massive population at risk, there is a lot thing that need to be done, and is your work, I mean students, you are in it. And this is not only the academic exercise, you will be future professionals on the market, and you have to have the wide knowledge about what does it mean gluten-free market. It means a lot from very different perspectives. Sorry for this speeding up. This is just another approach, what to change, what is the path forward, what need to be done. But let's, this is a final slide, talking exactly to students, your role as nutritional professionals. Yes, so in the terms of clinical practice, advocate for better diagnostic, recognize suspicious symptoms, provide proper counseling, monitor nutritional status long term. in terms of product development. Leverage cassava production to create affordable alternatives. Actually, cassava is a very good ingredient which can be transformed by very different techniques into a wide range of products. Research. Document celiac prevalence, validate traditional food technologies, develop cost-effective screening, and study nutritional intervention. In terms of public health, rising awareness about wheat consumption patterns and implication for food security and health equity, especially in rural communities. And education to us all is to train future professionals, develop consumer education program, and conduct community outreach initiatives, which is one thing we can reach to the children actually, because children are educating parents. And from my perspective, which one activity which is paying a lot is organizing the Science Week science show and presenting gluten-free cookies, which always are very appreciated and which are a very nice platform to show different raw ingredients, different gluten-free materials. And ending, thank you very much for your patience and presence. And this is my university. This is my country. We have very similar flags. And this is my city, Wrocław. So, terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
it's very interesting presentation from Professor Joanna. Yeah,
Thank you very
and
much.
it's very updating about what we actually eat, but it's very challenging actually. We as a we can call ourselves rice eating country, but the fact that we import a lot of wheat is about yeah, it's actually surprising because usually wheat can produce into bread, but we eat bread as a resectional, only
Mhm.
occasional. But it's different story with the noodle. We eat a lot of noodle, not as a main food, but sometimes it's also recreational. But we eat a lot of instant noodle.
Yeah.
That's why
Mhm.
the main contributor, I think, from that industry, and we export a lot of instant noodle worldwide. That's why the number is that big.
Yeah. Actually, very, very true. And I would say that this type of product, instant product, is a total harm to,
Yeah,
to the
indeed.
intestine, to the organism,
Yeah,
because there is a completely different story of the food prepared at home or at the restaurant. But those instant products are very easy digestible.
yeah, yeah,
So what you get from it is a blood glucose spike to heaven.
yeah. Mm,
Of course, you are full after eating, but it's not nutrition actually.
yeah,
And in fact, it's very difficult to replace the instant noodle, the instant wheat noodle, with the instant rice noodle because they behave a bit different.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is not only, let's say, not only pasta, not only noodles, but also cookies. There is a lot of sweets available based on wheat.
Okay. There's a opportunity for student to ask question. Please raise your hand. It's very good opportunity to learn from Professor Joanna.
They are shy,
Yeah,
like
sometimes.
students.
Melin, for example, do you have question?
If you are shy now, that's okay. If you will have question, please, you can forward it to me via Dr. Rejosta. So I am always willingly to answer. And I hope we can meet again somehow.
Yeah, please, Melin.
Okay. Firstly, thank you so much, Prof. Joanna, for your sharing knowledge and insight on gluten-free food. I'm interested in challenge of creating gluten-free food that are both a nice texture or appealing and nutritious. Based
Yeah.
on what you said about bread recipes that can be made with a combine several types of flours, has this been researched or it's just an idea?
No, it has been researched. It has been
Oh.
researched. What is important when you are researching a different combination of flours, you have to check not only nutritional combination, but also rheological, because this is how we try to mimic the gluten elasticity. So you have two ways, or you have access to the rheological equipment, which helps you to adjust the proper shares of different flours, or you are using the standard approach, so you are just trying different recipes, baking, and evaluating it. Actually, there is a lot of work done on non-gluten native flours. I do not remember now if I read something about the sago starch edition, but probably it is. But clue is not in repeating research. Clue is in obtaining the formulation that will comply as much of requirements as possible. So the texture, the shelf life, the aroma, the color, because you can get very nice rice bread, but it's white. There is no typical color.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, it can be. This is what I said, that everything depends from the local taste and expectation. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe for me, having completely white bread is not very appealing, but for another community, it can be interesting and tasty. So, starting to formulate the recipe, it is good to know what the customer, the target customer is, somehow to get an initial recognition. Yeah, to do some questionnaire. What would you like to me? Well, would you eat the rice bread, or would you like to eat the, I don't know, sago bread? And then trying to create something and do again the hedonic analysis, how the people are perceiving the results. Yes, but the bread is actually one of the most challenging structures, the bread itself. Sometimes noodles are a bit easier. And maybe noodles are more promising on the market, considering the huge export of instant noodles from Indonesia. Yes, but also cookies. There is a part of community which is very vulnerable, and those are children. Children are fed, are not eating themselves, are fed. So if the parents want somehow to follow the Western type diet, they are offering to children food which is not very nutritious. The cookies, burgers, this is not good stuff. And I have seen different strategies where cookies or kind of snacks were prepared, crackers from different ingredients, gluten-free ingredients, native flours, to accustom to the taste and to offer a different product towards wheat product. So the sky is the limit.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof.
Welcome.
One more opportunity. It's very limited opportunity. I believe Prof. Joanna is a very good researcher in this field. Please ask question. Okay.
Right.
Yes, there is no question anymore. Prof. Joanna, after this lecture, we will have maybe 10-minute meetings.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe that's all for the lecture today. Thank you so much for coming, both from Bachelor of Nutrition and Master of Nutrition Science program. I conclude
Thank you
this
very much for
lecture.
coming.
Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.
Umi tuh mau gambar. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yo, they can speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's wait for 2 minutes. You can leave right now, students.
Yeah, the number is decreasing.
Yeah. I actually invite some of our faculty member to join us, but maybe check if there is our faculty as well present today. No, there's none. I think it's fine because there's a lot of things happen in this time. So there are busy, I think.
Okay, I will stop sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
Currently, there's no one joining. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much to accepting my invitation to join the lecture, despite of the financial difficulty that we have right now. And then yeah, for paying that or to work together after this lecture, I think the best option is to start the collaboration in somewhat. We actually have several funding available to do several collaboration. For example, in this year, we have research collaboration with Ryukyus University for a project with vegetable oil and citrus characteristic. Maybe next year there is similar funding. I can expect it, and those funding require high profile researcher from abroad. That this time require for age index of 25, which I check you just enough to have the age index of 25.
So you have the requirements of the Hirsch index
Yes.
or the researcher?
Yeah, because we participate in the QS ranking certification, so international collaboration and also its index Scopus is very important to those rankings. That's why at that meeting at Singapore, I talked with a lot of people, including you, to explore the potential of collaboration.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, we also have opportunity to have a young professor position. It's like a guest professor that work in Universitas Diponegoro. Actually, they required to visit Indonesia for 10 days, but the contract is for 1 year, and then they require to have the affiliation adding the affiliation of Undip, so you will have a multiple affiliation. Yes,
Yeah,
during
that's not a problem.
It's fine
Visiting
for your.
Indonesia is a pleasure.
Oh, yeah. It's actually it's about new program that we have, and this year we have one adjunct professor from the University as well. And then for next year or the year after, I have additional slot to give invitation to for professors abroad to be in the position. The advantage of the position of the adjunct professor is a kind of a salary for 1 year is about 40 million. 40 million Indonesian. It's about
there is still a lot of students.
yes, they sometimes inactive. It's about the 2,000 euro for 1 year contract.
2,000 euro for 1 year contract.
Yeah, it's yeah, kind of ridiculous for European standard because I know it's about yeah, maybe 15 days of salary for you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
For
I am aware of the differences, and I think everything can be discussed because coming to Indonesia for 10 or 4 more days is not that big problem. I think the main thing is travel cost.
Yeah.
This is the main.
Yes, for
So-
that funding, we include about the same amount for travel. So it can be covered.
Mhm.
The travel as well as the hotels or apartment for the stay in Semarang.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
then this is okay. I
yeah,
think I am already accommodated for the temperatures around, being in Singapore and in
yeah,
Borneo. So
similar. Yeah. And then we have produced about 2 or 3 papers.
mhm,
So maybe that's another story. It can be from my project and maybe from our collaboration. So it's that paper that usually
mhm,
the main obstacle of the completion of the project. Even though, for example, the paper that I sent to you is not part of a project yet, so
mhm,
it actually can be the output of the adjunct professor program.
mhm,
Uh, so and that kind of paper, I have some of them, and that really can be worked together to transform it or upgrade it to a higher quality manuscript.
yeah. I have already read the manuscript. It's very well written, the one you sent me.
Yeah,
I have few remarks actually
yeah,
only, so I will send it later to you. I haven't changed the text. I just made the comments in a separate
yeah,
file.
yeah. It's fine.
So just to improve. Okay. So we have actually a few opportunities to collaborate. That's great. I can also, from my part, offer something because we are soon opening the program for incoming
Yeah,
both students and researchers.
yeah,
But the program is mainly oriented toward PhD students. That's why I was asking about the PhD students. But if you have the master students that maybe would like to come for a 30 days stay at my premises at laboratory,
yeah,
there will be the open call soon. They should be open at the end of October. And the whole program will last 1 year only, so this is very quick. But this type of research stays I have already had with multiple PhD students and master students. And my laboratories are organized the way that they can produce really substantial amount of results. I mean, the person who had been 30 days at my lab resulted in 4 manuscripts.
Whoa, it's a lot.
Only on the basis on the results obtained at my labs, because I am specializing in rheology of the products, which is for gluten-free, very important, but for almost everything, it's important. But the guy was working from 8 a.m. till 2 after midnight because it was a chance for him. So that was the
Yeah.
extreme. Yeah,
Yes.
but in fact, it is. I am hosting a lot of also students using Erasmus funds
Mm.
for research stays. Yes.
Okay.
So what was the name of this the girl that asked?
Melin.
Melin. Yeah.
Yes.
So I also had I think it was from Indonesia, one PhD student, the girl also. So
Yeah.
it can be very, very fruitful. It can also, if you could find any of the master students
Mm.
who would like to come
Yes.
using this project that will be open, we can complete even the project you have. I don't know what type of projects on which area, but I can complete them with the rheological measurements, different rheological measurements, if it's needed, of course.
Yeah. Very interesting. And usually for the research there is funding for the transport as well.
Sorry, once more.
For the research day, it's also for the transportation from
Yes,
Indonesia.
yes, it covers transportation. The only thing is that they need to buy themselves the ticket because the money is in Polish zlotys and will be paid to them once they arrive.
Reimbursement.
Reimbursement, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the lump sum. I will find, just a moment, I will find the web page for recruiting. It's still not finished. I mean, in terms, it's not open the call, but there are some informations already present from just a moment. Okay. No. Yeah, where is the chat here? Here.
Yeah.
Okay, I will paste. Yeah. Yeah, and those are mobility opportunities for 3 groups.
Academics.
Yeah, those are 3 groups: academics, PhD students, and master students. And those are incoming and outgoing. So there are several positions for incoming students, incoming PhD candidates, and incoming academics. I think I have it written somewhere, how many of them, because the rest is for outgoing. Yes. How many students I have? I think there is 20 positions for incoming PhD candidates, 5 positions for incoming academics, And I think I will check the master students.
Yes.
If you have time, maybe you can apply. But 30 days, it can be a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I should have a special permission to do that. Last time we use the maximum days for living is about 15 days.
15 days only.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a jail, not a
Yeah.
university.
You can say that.
Really, I can tell you, you are not the only one person that is saying me this, that can live only for 15 days. I have another collaborator from Serbia in
Okay.
Europe. The
Mm.
same. And it's
Okay.
jail. You have
Yeah.
a stipend, you have you secure funds. Why not to give you the permission to go and enlarge an experience?
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, that's true.
that's strange.
Yeah.
Let
That's
me check.
why we need a special permission.
Oh, Jesus. Special permission. But can you obtain a special permission?
Uh
Oh, it's a long and complicated
yeah,
process.
yes. It's long and complicated. Because I also have a position in the management, so let's add
Yeah.
the complication.
Yes, 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 yes. I can imagine. I can imagine, but everything can be discussed. If there
Yes,
is
that's
a
true.
benefit,
Yeah,
clear
yeah.
benefit coming, there is no point of. And 1 month is not that long, in fact.
No, no, that's true.
Yeah, I'm checking the proposal, the conditions. Okay. So, students, yes, yeah, four positions for master students
Okay.
incoming.
Yes, and that's for your laboratory.
Yes. Well,
Oh,
it's
wow.
not only for my laboratory because this is the project for the whole university,
Oh, okay.
but knowing from the experience, because this is not the first project of this type,
Yes.
but the third or the fourth, my colleagues from other faculties are not so energetic in gaining and accepting students.
Mm.
So majority of those places is going to my labs.
Ah, congratulations.
Yeah, well, everything depends from the how big collaboration network you have.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that's true. Something like
that's
this.
yeah. So I have a huge one, and moreover, my colleagues are trusting my competence, so they are sending the students, the PhD candidates, they are coming themselves even
Okay.
just to stay at my labs and to get some results.
Yeah.
And this is good because then we are publishing, then we have the fundament for applying or for different funds,
Yes.
different projects. and this is good because it also creates the network for young people to be
Yeah.
trained outside the regional university they are coming from. So this is good.
Okay. Okay. One more question. Do you think there's a possibility to work on your project?
Which project?
Anything for my idea is just send the student and as a workforce, you can say.
Yeah,
So
workforce accepted. Not a problem. Although I
yes,
am, because I am a head of department, but I also
yes,
have a research center, and this
yes,
research center is focusing on adaptive food systems. Adaptive food systems is a concept for strengthening the local economies. So what I am frequently doing is I am accepting students or PhD candidates or colleagues from other countries, especially from other climate zones with their own raw materials. And we are working on these raw materials, trying to elaborate any product, creating a structure, and so on and so on. This year, I had 3 students from Guadeloupe, which are Caribbean island on the other side of the earth. And they brought the local tubers, yam, some sweet potatoes, dictam starch, which is the local, and we were doing a product, elaborating. A year ago, I have 5 students from the same university, each one with the different raw material. And we have already published all the results, and it came 7 publication because for 2 girls there was enough results for 2 publications, and those were bachelor students. Those are bachelor students, so very willingly accepting workforce. However, to have a joy for researching something new, it would be nice. I don't know, maybe having something local. You have any sago starch or something. The best is the minor crop. I love the minor crops, which are underestimated. I can offer a high nutritious content and a challenging structure. So there is something to be researched.
Yeah. Very interesting. It's similar collaboration that I have with the Ryukyus, that we send our sample together with the student to work there, and then publish collaboratively and compare with the product that already there. So it's very good opportunity, I think, for that point.
The example, actually, I think one of that is when you will check my research profile. I think the latest one is breadfruit flour. This is not in collaboration, actually, but this is from my vacation. I was in Mauritius, and I saw the commercial breadfruit flour, and I bought it and then analyzed it, and the results are very interesting. But being on the vacation, I also made some collaboration in University of Mauritius, and we have another project with jackfruit, actually. But with those girls from Guadeloupe, we investigated, for instance, incorporation of mango leaves into pasta or gnocchi. Yeah. So there are very nice results. And we also did some pre-screening of different mango leaves. Yeah, those are very, very interesting, actually, works. Interesting, and also with the high potential. Yeah, I have, except having the research approach, I have also a bit of business twist. to research something which is not only interesting from the terms of science, but which can, of course, can not be sure, but can have a potential to be a product incorporated into market. So we also did spaghetti with the mango leaves.
Okay. I cannot imagine it.
Very nice, the green one.
Okay. But for the young leaf, not the full grown leaves.
No, young leaf, yes.
Okay.
And of course, the edible one, because it needs to be something which is edible or eaten by the local communities. Yes.
Okay.
The other, on Caribbean, there is another, it's called Artocarpus camanzi. It's bread nut or something. Another typical tropical tree with the huge leaves. And it's eaten by the local communities. It's not known in Europe because Europe is not in tropical zone, but they are eating it. So they collected those leaves, they brought it, and we were preparing what we were preparing with it. We were preparing gnocchi, and now the Italian noodles. And the article is now after second revision in scientific reports.
Oh, very nice.
So
super expensive one.
Yeah, expensive one. But happily, we still have money.
Yeah.
We still have money. Actually, this is the benefit of this university, that it has, I don't know how long, but now there are some internal programs to boost up the participation in publication, open access publication.
Okay.
So they are paying for publication in some journals. Some other journals are under the national reference, the one I told you. That there are some journals like Innovative Food Science and Emerging Technologies that are fully for free in open access for us.
It's transformed last year.
Yes. And the food chemistry also is for free, if they accept.
Of course. Super difficult one.
Also, Journal of Food and Agriculture. Is under. So we have some opportunities, actually pretty lot, to publish in good journals. But everything depends. Sometimes we are publishing in NDPI journals, like molecules or foods. Because we have vouchers for them.
Vouchers, and also becoming editor. Also have
the same. You can become editor, and then you have the option to publish. So I am generally oriented towards publishing all the results. For me, is a waste of time just to have fun in laboratory without any measurable output. So yes, very, very willingly. And this adjunct professor, visiting professor is also an option.
You can arrange that next year. And then one more question. You said there's an opportunity for inbound and outbound. Incoming and outcoming.
Incoming and outcoming, yes.
We also have a program for exchange for one semester, but it's actually highly competitive. But only for the lecture. But we of course, can expand it into research, but the main idea is still for a lecture. Maybe
This is for academics, for researchers, or for whom?
for student.
For students.
Yes, for student, for bachelor, and also for master student.
Okay, for how long? It's one semester.
Yes, one
Okay.
semester. I will send you the full information about it, so you can read along. And then my other question, you said that the student coming to Poland can bring many stuff, tubers and leaves. What about the quarantine? It will be a problem for them.
No, as long it is, as long as it is a powder, there is no problem. Because if you bring grain, if you bring seeds, this is a phytosanitary danger. Yes, but if you bring a milled powder, it can reproduce itself to any invasive plant.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I have one PhD candidate from Mauritius.
Yeah.
She is a very small girl.
Yeah.
Very small and very thin. And she brought with her a huge 30 kilos luggage.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because her luggage was her size almost. And she brought 3 different fruits from Mauritius.
Yeah.
And one of them was Ficus tamburisa fruit, which is this size, like a beret, this size fruit with the seeds inside. Okay. Nobody checked her, but probably she was lucky. But the rest of the students, when they are bringing the samples, they are bringing the powder, or university is sending the samples via FedEx with the description that those are for research purposes, blah, blah, blah. And I am also, when it arrives, I am filling the questionnaire that all the samples would be destroyed and decide at the university for researchers, not for them. So this is a established process. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything depends, because sometimes students want to take a risk. Sometimes they don't want.
Yeah. Because last time we brought similar powder and also oil to Japan. We have kind of a delay for the quarantine. For a few hours, but it's okay because we provide them the letter that it's only for research purposes and so on.
Yeah. So when students are traveling, they also have the letter with the samples. The samples are closed in vacuum container with the letter that with the stamp, official paper from university that this is for research purposes. But sometimes the lecturers decide that, okay, we will send it to you by FedEx or DHL or whatever company. And once the students go out, they are sending me a package, and I am just doing a custom clearance here.
Okay. For fresh fruit, I think it will be stay fresh, or do you think it's best to go to powder? I think.
Yeah, I think that doing powder would be more beneficial. If you could lyophilize it, if you could freeze dry it, that would be the best.
Okay.
If not, any type of milled drying
Yeah. And then for the PhD opportunity there, what kind of funding usually they will have?
You mean PhD, doing a
Yeah.
PhD here or PhD
Yeah.
coming here? Doing a PhD here?
Doing PhD there.
Okay, so this is a bit different because in Poland we have different regulations than I think you are familiar to Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a different type of PhD sponsoring funding.
Yeah.
We have doctoral schools,
Okay.
and in doctoral school, each PhD candidate is receiving the stipend.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a certain amount of money that's completely sufficient to survive.
Yeah.
And after the 2 years evaluation, because after 2 years the doctoral school is 4 years, and after 2 years of evaluation, if the evaluation is positive, the stipend is rising.
Okay.
And we are opening actually probably next year, because this year we are proceeding with the Senate and all the authorities, the program for the PhD study in English.
Well,
So probably next year would be the call. And we have 3 areas. 2 are connected with social sciences like management and economics. And the third one is connected with food technology and nutrition.
Okay.
So if you are interested for any of your students to do a PhD here, I will keep you informed how the process is going and what are the requirements and so on.
Yeah. I have several good students that I can recommend that, and they actually still looking around which university they want to do and which country. Yeah.
Okay.
Europe's favorite destination, of course, but the main concern, of course, the funding.
Yes.
We usually have local scholarship to go abroad, and I can see your university ranking is below 200, so it's a good university. But in case there's no funding available, because we actually we plan to reduce the student go international from year to year and change to local scholarship. How many usually the PhD student for that scheme?
Once more, how many what?
PhD for the with stipend.
What is the amount of stipend?
No. The number of PhD can be accepted.
How many students we have?
Yes.
How many PhD students we have in total?
No. How many PhD can be accepted?
How many? Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
Those are places. Yes. Actually, I don't know how many they will open for international students. We have 25 students in doctoral school each year, 25 positions, but it doesn't mean that we accept 25 people. This year we had 36 candidates and we accepted 18. Yeah. So It would be a substantial number. I don't know how much,
yeah.
because we will be starting with the English course,
Yeah.
but for sure, I think it would be 10 places as a minimum. But actually, this is an ongoing process. We are in now. So once we will be cleared with all the documents, requirements, and so on, I will notify you. And one thing, because we have the national regulations for international students,
Yes.
and any PhD candidate needs to have the at least B2 English certificate
Yeah, it's common.
or English course, because in Polish course, there is a need of having a Polish certificate for international student, because we have some students for the our neighbors like Ukraine or Belarus, and they are very close. It's like accepting Malaysians for you, but we need, because of the national regulation, they have to have the certificate in Polish. Yeah. So in terms of English, in English, it would be a certificate. Also, there is a benefit. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not a benefit. The requirement that the person applying for PhD here at doctoral school needs to have at least one manuscript published.
Okay. For the graduation or before accepted?
Before accepted.
Okay.
Or accepted, yes.
Yeah.
Because we have we are evaluating the candidate on the certain amount of criteria.
Yeah.
And one of it is existing track records. Yeah. If the person is dedicated towards scientific research work. So if the person is and was able to prepare a manuscript and publish it somehow, then it's, of course, gets higher marks in ranking.
Okay. Yes. One more question. There is a possibility to have a co-supervisor.
Co-supervising?
Yes.
I think yes. But if the co-supervisor is from abroad, then probably the thesis need to be in English. I am thinking about the existing PhD course, which is in Polish. I have to check it, but some of my colleagues from management area, some of them already have PhD students with the co-supervisor from Italy or somewhere there. Which means that they have somehow managed it. I just have to get some more knowledge about it because I am not familiar.
Yes. And then to graduate, how many publications required?
3.
3 publications.
But this is the least. Yes. Usually, concerning my PhD students, they are publishing 2 articles per year.
2 per year.
If not more.
Yeah. So in total minimum 8.
Yeah, well, it's not the minimum. Yeah, I know how it works because I prefer to put a young person directly into creating their own network and into creating their name. Yes, because if they start publishing, they name already exist in all those scopus and the rest of the metrics.
Yeah.
And they having anything published, they can apply for PhD student grants and projects for funding,
Yeah.
because we have in
Mm.
Poland the system and several agencies, and to avoid the competition because between experienced scientists and young scientists, we
Mm.
have calls dedicated for PhD candidates only.
Okay.
So they are applying then, nobody else.
Mm.
So you can apply if you have something already published because it makes your ranking higher. So
Mm.
my PhD students not only are doing their research,
Mm.
they are frequently contributing and working in another projects that I
Oh,
have. Yeah.
okay.
So work, publish, conferences, vacation, work, publish, publish, publish. It looks like this, but everybody is happy.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't tell that they are stressed. They are not, because the laboratory is well equipped. Everything
Mm.
is there, so they can do their own stuff. And meanwhile, helping other or supervising master students. It's usually working like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. And then, yeah, experience with my travel to Japan. That
Mhm.
my funding was a little bit limited, maybe just enough for the air transport, not for
Mhm.
the stay and food. Do you think there is a can be additional coverage for that kind of travel?
Uh, Everything depends,
Yeah.
because usually when anyone is coming here,
Mm.
he is coming with the funds that are covering everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen my university giving additional funds. They are
Okay.
very uh, tough with giving money. But the life cost in Poland, I mean, the food and mainly food is not
Yeah.
that expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
And when visiting, I always suggest not a hotel or anything, but dormitory. We have very nice dormitory rooms for incoming
Mm.
guests with the bathroom and a small kitchen annex in it. So
Oh,
for the short stays, completely sufficient, and the cost is very comparative to the hotel or renting the flat or renting the room. Renting a room is even
cheaper.
no, even more expensive
Oh,
than
really? Okay.
having the dormitory room.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
So for it's a common practice, at least for me, when I am expecting incoming
yeah.
guests,
Yeah. Mm.
like student
Okay.
or master student or even a young researcher, because usually professors are not coming for that long time and they prefer to stay at a hotel.
Mm.
But if there is a research stay around 30 days, so it's more economic to have the room in the dormitory. Dormitory is 5 minutes from the university
Mm. Yeah.
on the other side of the
Beautiful.
street.
Mm.
So it's very nice placement. Around there is a park. This is very nice city actually, and
Yeah. Yeah.
well organized. So having dormitory room is a good choice.
Yes. I think a lot of thing already discussed, and I think it's very fruitful discussion. There's many potential collaboration that we can work on. Yeah, I'm very happy. I hope you're happy as well.
Yeah, I am very happy that you reached me. Yes, because I just remembered you from the first because I remember your name.
Ah, really?
Pronounce it. Please pronounce it correctly for me.
Yeah, it's Fitriyono Ayustaningwarno.
Fitriyono Ayustaningwarno. Very nice.
Yes.
Nice to meet you with the full name. Fitriyono, very nice. Fitriyono is the name.
Not really. We doesn't have a, name or surname. So it's just my name, and then you usually can I can call by Ayusta.
Yeah, but Ayusta is neither first name nor the second name. It's
No,
shortage.
yeah, the short version. So
Short.
there's no surname or first name.
Okay. Yeah. I know that's because I am familiar with this specific naming,
Hmm.
and that's why I was asking which one is
Yeah.
which.
And yours with J or Y?
It's
Joanna or
na.
Joanna?
Nene, double N, nene.
Joanna.
Yes, but I
Uh,
got Joanna. It's easy. Yeah, easier.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because my daughter using a Dutch pronunciation, so it's a little bit
Mhm.
used to me to actually ask how actually you can spell J.
Yes, everything depends. Here is your
Yes.
you, but
Yeah.
yeah, it can be J, it can be her, depending.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I am also Spanish speaking, so in Spanish it's her.
Ah, okay. Wow. It's a lot of way to to spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yes, maybe that's all. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I very appreciate it. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's actually starting the day for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and we are in
Mm.
touch.